Hi everybody, my name is Ben Lampert, and like many of you, I am practicing my social distancing from you all and self-quarantining right now at my parents' house with my wife and my dog and our baby on the way, and we are thinking of creative ways to connect. And each morning at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. in the afternoon at my office we are doing video team calls, and it got me more interested in video. And then I walked out to this barn at my parents' house, and we have an entire production studio. So for the first time, I am trying to combine some efforts here and think creatively of how to connect, kind of on a personal and professional level. So I'm a real estate agent with the Bernardi Group at Coldwell Banker. I'm a buyer specialist. This is in Boulder, Colorado. And I was connecting with my folks and trying to figure out a good story to tell, and I thought none better than how I got into real estate in the first place, which was helping them manage this great move, this process, coming from the East Coast out here to Colorado into this home that we're in now. So I asked them if they would join me for the next 5 or 10 minutes, and we're just going to do in kind of like an uncut, a spontaneous interview that I think a lot of you can relate to in this time, and especially buyers and sellers, and you might pick up some points of wisdom here, and hopefully you'll just enjoy this. So join us for the next 5 or 10 minutes. All right, everybody. Again, my name is Ben Lampert. I am a real estate agent with the Bernardi Group at Coldwell Banker, and I am lucky enough to be sitting here in this self-quarantining time that we live in with my mother and father, Allison and Peter. How are you guys doing today?
Hi guys.
Just fine, thank you.
Good, good. So, on a professional level, I'm trying to relate to new home buyers and what this time might look like for you guys, particularly buyers, but also I think some sellers out there might take some nuggets from this. And I thought no better way than to sit here and spend a few minutes with my parents, who in 2016, in July, moved out to Colorado from Washington, D.C. So, first and foremost, guys, why Colorado? Why'd you move out here?
Well, you moved out here and got married, and our daughter had moved out here, so it seemed like a good place to position ourselves before we retired and then just stay on after we retired.
Yeah, but about 10 years ago, we were both in the Washington, D.C. area, and D.C. and the East Coast was just getting uncomfortable, craziness around the Washington, D.C. area, and I just didn't want to spend the rest of my life in that environment. So my family's off from Nebraska, and Allison and I went out to dinner, and I said, I kind of want to either go down toward the south or get back to my roots in Nebraska where people are friendly and nice. And Colorado was on the list because you were here. So we started, and it took us about 5 years of trips out here and looking around to begin to zero in on this at that point.
That leads me right into the next question, which is, you have lived in how many homes over your lifetime?
Several.
Several.
Dozens.
So,
Yeah.
How did you settle on where you are now? How'd you?
We looked enough around during visits to kind of know what we might want and not want, and then you, Benjamin, found it. We were in New York City attending his younger sister's graduation, and he found the perfect house. And we couldn't run right out to look at it because we were at our daughter's graduation.
But let me add to that. So during the trips out here, I know several trips I was out here by myself, but then we came out and we looked all up and down the Front Range here. And I had my little spreadsheet, and I was trying to figure everything out because we wanted to most likely build the dream house. And we decided that we wanted to, instead of downsizing in a future career in retirement, we wanted to upsize because we wanted a destination. We wanted our kids to be able to come and grandkids to be able to come and have a place for the whole family. So we went up and down. Boulder, Fort Collins, Boulder, down here to Evergreen, south of Evergreen. And as we began to talk to builders and developers, the costs just got bigger and bigger and bigger, really to the point that we had another dinner. And we said, okay, are we really going to do this? And so to do this meant I was going to have to come out to Denver, probably go down to Lodo and take an apartment and start a longer-term search. Allison was still working with the U.S. government and would stay there and downsize again, sell the house, and go into an apartment. And that's what we had decided to do. And as soon as we did that, the world shifted. Tell them how the world shifted. I'll keep it up for you.
Benjamin called us up late one night and said, I have the perfect house. This is the most wonderful house. You've got to see it. Except we couldn't see it. Mm-hmm. So we absolutely just couldn't leave New York City right then to fly out. But someone else was going to put an offer on it. And so Benjamin visited the house, and he took videos and pictures and sent them all to us. And
how many videos and pictures?
17 videos and 100 pictures.
Is that about right? That's right.
Yes.
Whatever she said.
Everything from the inside of the house to the outside of the house. And we knew geographically about where it was. And it was a little farther away than we had wanted to be, but the house itself was, I felt that if we didn't put an offer on this house, I would compare unfavorably everything else I ever looked at to this house. If we made an offer and someone beat us out, well, that's one thing. But if we didn't try, I just felt I would regret it forever.
So standing in line at the graduation of Natalie's master's program in New York City at NYU, with hordes of people, we were literally on the phone, virtually, negotiating this contract. And then we got back to our little Airbnb that night, and I can barely stay awake. And we're doing e-documents, right? Electronic documents, back and forth. And we put an offer on this house, 6,000 square foot house, in the mountains, sight unseen.
Except for the 100 pictures and 17 videos.
That's right. Now, it's not so crazy. Again, we're both law school graduates, CPA, tax lawyer. So we put certain contingencies in, like any good buyer would, and with a good broker to help us do that at the time. And so that we could negotiate down to the important terms and conditions. And then as soon as we got back from New York City, I think I had like 6 hours of sleep. I was on the plane out here to then go, with eyeball to eyeball and take a look at the property.
It's a wild story. And I think that, we can relate to that in today's market. We're at home. There is all this opportunity to see property online and to get better details, and real estate as of today is considered a critical service, so we can be out there for you, for the buyers, just like I was for these guys. And I will say that they had a wonderful realtor at the time, and he was actually the one who helped me get into this, and helping manage this process is what helped me get into real estate in the first place. So just a little note there. So once you guys made that offer, what was that process like? That you've got financing, you've got closers, title to work with, you've got inspections, you've got all these different things in a process when you're under contract, and you're still off on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. How did all that work?
Online. And we had Benjamin Benjamin was our eyes and ears, but also our realtor, and we did everything online. We signed all the documents online. We didn't ever actually meet the seller. Well, Peter met him when he came out for the inspection. I didn't meet him until actually after we bought the house. We negotiated with him. We let him stay an extra month after we, did the closing. All of them things were done online. We talked to him about should we buy some of his furniture that he wanted to leave or not, and everything was online.
But let me add to that is that we obviously had a good team of people around us. So I knew that I could trust not just the agents that were working, but the other team, the appraisers, the surveyors. I remember the seller getting a little perturbed that we probably had 5 different inspectors all over the house in a 24-hour period. Of course. So, but, you know, we could document it and rely on that. So.
You were able to do your due diligence from afar. And you'll see this is kind of like a take-home point for, you know, the market we're in now, that a lot of this can be done virtually. And a lot of buyers in today's market, they need to be selling a home too. So there's coordination on timelines, dates and deadlines, logistics here. And you guys were in the same boat from the East Coast. You guys had a house to sell.
Exactly.
So how did that play into all this?
We just got right on it. We accelerated our time frame once we closed on this house, and we had a good realtor at the other end who helped us, and of course we were there in person for that one, but it wasn't a problem.
Yeah. And did you have a scenario where were people talking, the realtors on the house to sell and the realtor on the house to buy? Did they communicate on your behalf at all? I get that question every once in a while, just to time things up.
Talking to each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. Matter of fact,
I didn't even
I
realize
opened up the
it.
Basecamp account so we could do it online.
I didn't even
knew this.
realize this.
Yes,
Okay.
they did.
I was oblivious to that part.
It happens. Buyers, you know, that's our job. We need to be able to connect the dots, right? It'd be nice in a world if your personal trainer talks to your doctor. So you're dealing with medical stuff that impacts your physical exercise, same idea. So we do. Everybody here kind of, we work together on your behalf. So looking back on it, it's been almost 4 years now that you've been out here. Think about that whole process getting out here. If you had to do it over again, would you do anything differently?
I just have to say, I didn't know a view was important until we had one. I just had no concept of how wonderful it is to look out and see those mountains. I wouldn't do anything differently.
Tell our audience about the arranged marriage. Blank?
Blank. The
Remember
arrangement.
when you had decided, since you hadn't been out here, that you were eventually you would love it once you got here.
Oh, yes. So
Come on.
moving to Colorado, I mean, I was East Coast and Europe, you know, living there. I'd never lived, did live 4 years in Nebraska when we went to law school. But other than that, East Coast, and I thought, you know, Colorado's kind of dry. I like to go visiting there. Everyone says it's wonderful. I'll learn to love it. I know it's good, but I will learn to love it like an arranged marriage. You know, it's a good choice, but you're not quite there yet. But as soon as I got off the plane, which was about 6 months after Peter got here, because I had to, finish up some things with my job. When I got here, it was love at first sight. Just unimaginable.
And then we've been happy ever since.
No.
Like, why didn't we do it 10 years ago?
Because we were still living in Europe then. But.
So we've got baby boomers here. Some of you who might be watching this might also be in the same boat, thinking about next steps, upsizing, downsizing, retirement, you know, for whatever reason. So what's one piece of advice you would give to, you know, prospective buyers considering a move to Colorado? Something to look out for. Something you learned later.
Actually, just how nice the people are.
Mm.
I am always blown away at the post office or at Ace Hardware. People are just gracious out here.
Wonderful.
And the bears, and the deer. 5 deer this morning.
Don't leave trash cans unlocked.
That's right.
Right. No, the whole first year I walked around the house saying, I live here. I can't believe it. I live here. So, you know, it's the best house we've ever had, and I guess we saved the best for last. Best house, best location.
And I was just thinking as I was looking at my mom, this is one that my wife would like me to share, is wear extra sunscreen, because you're a mile up and we get a lot of sun. So wear your sunscreen, everybody. And no north-facing driveways. We don't like those. They leave snow and ice for months to come. So, you know, I guess lastly for you guys, you know, what's one aspect of life that has actually improved for you during these times with the coronavirus and with the isolation? What's something that's actually improved for you?
we've had more family time, especially with you guys here. The videographer, which you can't see, is our daughter-in-law. So when I say you guys, we've had more time, and that's been nice. And it really hasn't been a big burden for us, quite frankly.
And when you look out of our windows, you don't see any people walking anyway because we are on 10 acres. So that hasn't really changed. I mean, we can still go for a walk on a road and not encounter anyone or just see one other person on the other side of the road. So we are in the fortunate position of not being confined right into the house or apartment as some people are, unfortunately.
So come visit. Come to beautiful downtown Pine, Colorado.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, thank you guys. This was lovely. I think this went well. And, hopefully more to come. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.
We welcome you to Colorado.
Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.